right? Used to be that who dat. Yeah, there's New Orleans, right? Because I think when we get to like the pay for play, we get closer to pro sports. And, you buy these jerseys. Like I saw somebody on Twitter, they buy the jerseys. And then next year, like that particular player, for example, like if you bought an Isaiah Bond jersey, you can't rock that anymore. He's going to Texas. Sandman, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. Carla, good morning to you. John, good morning. What's up? Appreciate you guys being here on this fine Monday morning. If you missed it yesterday, Alabama did make an additional hire to the staff, a support staff. That's Jataria Sanders, who is the director of recruiting strategy, was previously at North Carolina. So that staff is coming together nicely. And honestly, I've been waiting for Alabama to make, this announcement regarding their coaching staff. And honestly, the contract details too. But we've seen the coaches out on the road. And, we're curious to see kind of what that entails for Alabama moving forward and how much Coach KD is going to get paid by the year. We've talked about that before. I think it could. You got to think he gets at least paid what? Like, does he get paid like $10 million a year? $9 million? Ryan Grubb isn't coming over who's cheap. I don't know. All right. So I have some B-roll rolling in the back. So if you're just jumping in, like this is not updated practice footage. This is footage from last season. I just wanted to throw some footage on, keep it fresh, look at some actual football practice. And the way that Alabama football is going to conduct, at least from what I gather, is that football practice is going to be completely different in terms of what Alabama football does from a media perspective, which I'm pretty excited about. So like, what are you talking about, Kyle? Okay. Well, under Coach Saban, shoot, man, the access was pretty limited. You could only talk to Coach Saban, no assistant coordinators. You could only talk to like a handful of players that they would bring to media opportunities. And then all the practices were closed off. I think that from what I understand, this could be the different case this year, that we could actually go watch some practices and potentially talk to the assistant coaches during the season. So could you imagine like post game in the media scrum, us being able to talk to like Ryan Grubb, right? Or being able to talk to Kane Womack in terms of, defensive calls. I always thought it was important to have the offensive and defensive coordinator brought up to the podium, because it's like, think about this, like after the Texas game, Jalen Milroe throws 2 interceptions. The dude has to be posted up at the podium to talk about, those interceptions. Whereas like Tommy Reese and Kevin Steele, they're just like in the background. They don't have to talk to the media, right? So looking forward to getting an opportunity to talk to, I guess, more opportunities. By the way, that number 24 right there, that is Emmanuel Henderson. Number 3 right there, that is Terrion Arnold, who's going to the NFL. It's good to see kind of look back at these players in practice, right? Coach Saban. And going to miss watching him at practice. And I think like even seeing him still there, you still feel kind of that comfort, what you're used to seeing. But and here's Ty Simpson right here, number 15. But going forward, this is a new coaching staff. And Coach Kalen Deboer has done a great job in the recruiting aspect. He has been crushing it. Every single time I load up Twitter, he's doing, he's on the road, he's crushing it. Guys getting everywhere and building those relationships with 2025. I want to talk about the running backs this morning. Yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking about Jalen Milroe, and I was surprised during yesterday's call-in show on Sunday, the amount of questions that a lot of people had inside chat, the undefeated, about Jalen Milroe. And I think now, because some of those questions were alleviated, and I think that by the end of the season, I'd say like Jalen Milroe had won kind of the confidence of like at least 80% of the fan base. But I think since Alabama didn't win, and I think since you have a new coaching staff, and I think since you have a new OC coming in, that percentage of people that believe in Jalen Milroe has seemed to kind of slide backwards. And yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about kind of the quarterback room and, people feeling that Jalen Milroe is not going to be able to retain his job going forward. I'm on the Jalen Milroe train. He's going to be the quarterback going into spring. I think he is absolutely the guy that starts this season. And I think if he's able to be developed under Ryan Grubb, I think he has a phenomenal season. So let's talk about the running back room right here at the University of Alabama. What's going on? If you're just joining us, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe if you want to become a fan funder to help support this channel. I would appreciate it. Hit the hyperlink up top on the screen, and I would appreciate you guys coming in. Why does 22 touchdowns? Yeah, I guess those are some old stats, or like we were kind of like testing stuff. But yeah, we can manifest that with 22 touchdowns. Now, these are not accurate stats clearly, but if you want to go ahead and manifest that, we should. So I think when you look to the Alabama running back room, you should definitely be excited. Jam Miller it could be everything for any program out there. Last year, he got fed, and he came up really big in the SEC title game when Jace McClellan couldn't go. Jam Miller is an all-purpose back. And what I mean when I say like all-purpose or kind of like a scat back, right? Look, Jay, he got 20. Yeah, that's how good Justice Haynes is going to be on manifesting that. I'll update those stats. Free Mike, free Mike, free Mike. Mike's free. He called in. He called in and said that he just got pulled over, but he's free. He's back on the streets. I really like Jam Miller. Actually, let's bring up Jam Miller on Roll Tide. I mean, I don't want to sleep on any of these running backs at all. And sometimes if I don't talk about a player, people are like, you sleeping on him? Like, no, I'm not sleeping on him. It's just like there's a lot of guys back there that are capable. All right, so can you guys see this? All right, this is from RollTide.com. Here's your boy Jam Miller, big dude. I think they just updated a lot of these photos. Look at this guy. Our Texas fans remember that game? That was your Super Bowl last year. All right, 5'10", 211 pounds. Last season, I think his most notable game was against Georgia. Made his lone reception count, taking a 28-yard pass for a touchdown. Saw extensive work in the ground game, rushing for 9 yards for 9 times for 23 yards. Against Michigan, he only ran 1 time for 11 yards. And you got to think, I mean, he was basically the number 3 back last year. 10 games played, 33 attempts, 223 yards with 2 touchdowns, a longest of 40, average 6.8. All right, so I do like Jam Miller coming back. And who knows, maybe he's the guy, who Alabama uses as their first running back. But I think it's going to be this guy right here. I think it's absolutely going to be Justice Haynes. So if you don't know Justice Haynes, you're going too soon. They're not trying to overhype the kid, but he's 5'11", 205 pounds. And truth be told, I was looking for B-roll footage of him this morning to showcase kind of his footwork. I mean, like the footwork is phenomenal. I haven't seen a running back have footwork like this. He's out of Georgia. He's going to be a sophomore. Spot played last year for Alabama. Saw him, actually, he came out and he was the first running back to get reps in the Rose Bowl. Played in 13 games as a freshman, only 25 attempts for 168 yards with 2 touchdowns, averaging 6.7. That's interesting. So in Jam Miller's short time coming back, right, or short carries last year, he averaged 6.8. And Justice Haynes averaged 6.7. And again, that's a very small sample size, but I think that 1-2 combo with Ryan Grubb's offense, I think these guys are going to do work in the backfield. I think certainly one of these running backs will hit the 1,000-yard mark. I don't know which one, but I think the running back room is going to get fed. Actually, what I want to do is showcase Washington's offense last year, because I think it'll kind of give us a snapshot on what Ryan Grubb will want to do. So it's Dylan Johnson, Washington, in terms of utilizing his running backs. Because this guy ate last year. I know he got a little bit banged up in the national title game. But this is your running back last year from Washington. Dylan Johnson. Dang, I didn't realize that Dylan Johnson was that big of a running back. 6 foot, 220 pounds. And, over the last, this was this last year, 14 games played, 233 attempts for almost 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns. Man, that's nice. So if you can get one of these running backs, whether that's going to be like, let's see if we can see his attempts from last year. Oh, here they are on this other side. So if you kind of scroll over, you can see rushing yards. So against Boise State, 7 attempts, 8 against Michigan State, 10 against Cal. Then he started to get fed later on in the season, right? Oregon, he had 20 carries for 100 yards, 18 against Stanford, 26 against USC, 23 against Utah. Wow, so he ate in the back end. 24 receptions for 190 yards. So my point is like the way that Grubb could utilize these running backs. I mean, these guys are going to catch a lot of balls. Not too many. I mean, I think Najee Harris caught for like 42 passes when he was here, which was crazy. Guy could catch the ball. I think Jam Miller can catch the ball, but I think Justice Haynes is going to be that guy. And again, these stats are not up to date. I will update that. I guess I'm manifesting the fact that I want him to score 22 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised. Jeremiah is asking about the new hire that Alabama got. The new hire is the support staff. So by my count, Alabama has probably 15, 16 support staff members. The latest is, I'll put the bumper on the screen. So you have like your main coaches, and then here we go. Jatavia Sander, Director of Recruiting and Strategy. I think that kind of tells us the things with like a lot of people were asking about David Cooper from Georgia, right? But it's going to be Jatavia Sanders. So there's all sorts of support staff behind Alabama. I mean, truth be told, you have like your wide receiver coaches, your OC, your offensive line coach. But then behind that, I mean, you probably, I would say in total, Alabama with like support staff, you probably have, I don't know, 125 that like actually help with the football team, like every single day. And that includes students, interns, different type of people. So Jatavia Sanders will be Director of Recruiting Strategy, but you also got like Jeff Allen, Director of Sports Medicine, David Ballou, the strength coach. You have, Courtney Morgan, who's going to be like the GM, general manager. You have Bob Weldon, who does player personnel. You have Clinton Diggs, who I guess are going to do player development as well. Josh Chapman, Ellis Ponder, who's the chief operating officer. So there's so many people behind the scenes that make everything go. I would love to get like a behind the scenes look at all of the logistics for Alabama, because it's much more than just the head coach and Ryan Grubb and some of these other guys that we talk about. It's like the back end. Like they have literally, like, if you go to the University of Alabama on Friday, really on Thursday, if they have an away game, let's say they're going up to Tennessee and you go by the university on Thursday, they literally have a semi truck outside of the football complex that they are loading up, like a semi truck, and it's pimped out in like Alabama rap, right? It has like national it's like the dopest semi that you've ever seen. You probably know what I'm talking about. And I don't know about Charlie. I don't think Charlie Strong is on the staff anymore. I don't think he was retained. Appreciate you guys joining me today. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for choosing to become a fan funder. If you are a fan funder, we got some really cool stuff coming your way. We got Coach Smook. He will be here at 10 with the Smook Scoop in the morning time. Ty is off today. Ty is at a rodeo. So if usually Ty hits in that second hole behind me, and he's at a rodeo in Denton, Texas. So good morning, Kyle, the Hulk Henderson. No. I appreciate that. That's dope. Calling me the Hulk. The Hulk is Jaden Roberts, right? He is, man, that guy is a monster of a man. Coming back at the guard position. I was talking to Will the Scout earlier, and he said that Jaden Roberts could potentially bump out to be a tackle, right? Which could be dope. So I don't know, so let's just say Elijah Pritchett, and I know we're not talking about the offensive line today, but I'm just kind of spitballing here. Elijah Pritchett, Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford, I don't know, a Rock Montgomery, maybe, and then a Jaden Roberts at tackle. Man, give me that lineup. That's kind of one of my biggest questions. Like I'm pretty confident about the offense. Maybe not so much about which wide receivers will step on the field. I think it's going to be Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice, and then whoever else really rises up. Could be one of the freshmen, Ryan Williams, right? Could be the transfer in Jeremy Bernard. I think I feel good about the tight ends. We know that CJ Dupree is going to be the guy. Thanks, Caitlin. I appreciate that. Glenn, what's up? See you inside the comment box. Caleb, what's going on, man? Good morning to you. Appreciate it. Hearing Roberts talk is kind of crazy. Doesn't even sound real. Booker is my favorite lineman. I think he's pretty much everybody's favorite lineman, and I think a lot of that comes from the way that he conducts himself. What's up, Caleb? I see you inside. I appreciate the question, man. And I think Tyler Booker has really displayed a true sense of leadership, right, with this team. How he conducts himself in the interviews, how he handled himself after the loss against Michigan, how he has been one of the biggest supporters of Coach Kalen Deboer going forward. I mean, he's openly given some really good interviews about that. And we saw some interviews come through about from Jalen Milroe. He had his football camp this past Saturday here at Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It was a youth camp. And he talked about Coach Kalen Deboer too. And I think we talked about this yesterday, was the fact that Jalen Milroe, his leadership by, staying here at Alabama, I think he definitely retained a lot of the players as well, kind of helping Coach retain this group. What's up, Sarah? I see you. Good morning. Caleb, what's up? I appreciate you. Chris G, good morning. Jamie, what's up, man? Chief 18 Wheels, salutes and roll tide. Good morning to you. Trainwreck 70, hiring Womack. Let's see what we got right here. Trainwreck 70, what's up, man? With the comment inside the comment box. Hiring Womack is hiring somebody nobody knows. I'm confused on that one. A lot of people know who he is. Yeah, if you talk to people in LA, basically lower Alabama, they feel really good about that hire. I don't really know him, other than the fact that he's young, coached at South Alabama as a head football coach. What's up, Vanna? Good morning to you. Todd, good morning. And this is exactly it. People that know football know who Womack is. Like, 1,000,000%. I think this is like, the more that you kind of dive into it, you feel good about it. Diamond Girl, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. And I think just because, you look at the Alabama defense and the fact that this is the thing, is this was Coach Saban's defense, right? Like 1,000,000%. It was Coach Saban's defense. So now that you don't have Coach Saban as the defensive mind, and people are still kind of have like PTSD from Pete Golding, they have a right to judge and question every single aspect about the defense. Compounded on the fact that Alabama had an incredible defense last year. They did. Their defense was legit. The 2023 defense was light years better than 2022's defense, 2021's, right? It was. The job that Alabama was able to do in the second half specifically was most impressive to me on the defensive side of the ball. Chat, I didn't, LaQuaisha, what's up? Good morning to you. Caleb, good morning. What's up? Jared, I see you inside the comment box, man. What's up? Yesterday, I didn't ask you this, chat, and I kind of wanted to compound this on kind of a new format that I have, is to interact with chat, aka the undefeated, before I take the calls. And that is I want to compound kind of point 3 and point 4 together. And those are, what do you feel is going to be the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer? And I'm asking you that as kind of the question going into this early season. And we will ban Robert. Goodbye, Robert. So my question to you inside the comment box is, what is the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer? and we'll put those questions on the screen. All right, and I'm gonna star some of those so I can get back to them. Hollywood, what's up? Coming in and talks about defense. And I think you're absolutely right when we look to question number 4 on the board today. Biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer. Let those get in. So I think that's kind of one of my biggest questions as well, is the defense. And just as I was saying, even before that. All right, thanks for the questions coming in. I'm going to let the questions come in. I'm going to answer you guys. Throw them up on the screen. Let's start with what Hollywood says is the defense. I think one of the biggest misconceptions when I think about the Alabama defense as of right now and that people have is that it's completely depleted following some of the guys that exited out. You did 100% take a hit with losing 3 coaches, okay? Coach Saban, Kevin Steele, and T-Rob. All quality coaches that coached at the highest level. Coach Saban, a brilliant defensive mind. Kevin Steele, brilliant defensive mind. T-Rob, one of the most up-and-coming defensive coaches. Even Kevin Steele said that T-Rob will be a head coach one day. Add to the fact that you lose 11 guys to either the transfer portal or going out early to the NFL. Jalen Key, Terrion, Kool-Aid, all those guys were starters, along with Caleb Downs. Those are 4 starters that you lose. Now, on the flip side, you do return Malachi Moore, who's a clear vet, played in over 700 snaps last season. So I think with the defense, I don't necessarily have too many questions about the defensive front or how they're going to utilize their edge rushers in this 4-2-5, but rather, what are they going to do in the secondary? And then also, on top of that, is how are you going to stop teams that want to run the football? Right? Tony Mitchell is definitely still around. And I think that Tony Mitchell, someday travel, what's up? See you inside the comment box. And when we throw up our 4-2-5 formation, which we usually do on here, you see Tony Mitchell in that back area with the safety in the 4-2-5. So the safeties, if you want to throw Devontae Smith and Tony Mitchell as a safety, and then also having Malachi Moore as a star. Corners, Damani Jackson, and on the opposite side, we're not sure. Probably going to be a younger guy. Could be a Jalen Mbakwe. I'm not sure on that. When is A-Day? A-Day looks to be either April 20th or April 13th, but no official date has been set in terms of A-Day. And when we bring and when that is released in terms of like A-Day, Glenn, I don't know. That's kind of like the soft. But yesterday I saw that it could be April 13th. What I do know is April is no longer, or A-Day is no longer free. I didn't know that. It's like $10 to come in. Did you see that? It used to be like the one free thing that you could come in to check out. So now I think that there's going to be a ton of fans at this A-Day. Just like Caitlin says, very excited to see the defense at A-Day. I think a lot of people are certainly excited to just see the new coach, right? Caleb, ask your question again. Oh, biggest challenge? I got you. There's a lot of questions that I'm going to get through before I take calls at around like 8:45, 9 a.m. Caleb King, biggest challenge, getting over this first year for the young defensive backs to find their footing, including that week 4 matchup, and keep it close. We need everyone to be bought in. Yeah, 100%. I think that one of the biggest things that he had to do when he first got here was re-recruit the program, which he clearly did. He has to get those defensive backs in place, which I think he's going to do, probably not during like now the fourth quarter program, but I think March and April will give us a good indication of where those freshmen are, how the defensive secondary is looking. And I wouldn't judge anything by how the defense looks during A-Day at all, because that transfer portal window opens. Let's say A-Day is like the 13th. That would mean 2 days later you have the transfer portal opening, which will be really weird is if you have this. Okay, stay with me here. I think A-Day could be April 13th, because it would be weird if they had April 20th as A-Day with the transfer portal like a couple days before. That could be really crazy. Like you have the transfer portal and then you have A-Day. All right, we got a super chat coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get the super chats up as well. The fan funding and the super chats. And then as I asked you yesterday, if you're out there and you enjoy the content, share it on social media. Like, just tell them this is where, this is my morning show, whatever. I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. They should make a day $10, but the money goes to NIL. Right? It goes right into, they just basically have like buckets out there for Yay Alabama. Right? Like your donations to the program right there. Why not? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's not a horrible idea. All right. Going A-Day is free. It's not free anymore. Dwight, this is the first year where they are charging. See, Kalen is saying you can get reserved seats. Got mine. A-Day is still free. I don't think it's free anymore. Get to some of these other questions inside the comment box. What I'm asking you, chat, aka Undefeated, is about the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer. Like right now, end of the season, whatever. Good morning, Eddie. What's up? I see you inside the comment box. Let's go through some of these other questions that I had coming on the screen in terms of the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer. Glenn is saying, I believe this is Glenn from Montreal. What's up, Glenn? Good morning to you. Expectations. Well, 1,000,000%. We talked about this, I think, Sunday or Friday or whenever. Is the expectations for this program from literally the first quarter of play expectations? Because the bar here at Alabama is set to the maximum. Like, under Saban, let's face it, it was championship or bust. Like, if you didn't win the championship, it was a failed season. Now, I get it. You play to win the game. You play to win the championship game. But, like, under Saban, if you didn't win it, like, people see last year as a failure. You didn't win. And under Coach Saban winning, 6 national titles here, look, that's the standard that you're jumping into. Those are the expectations. So, 2 things. Number 1, your expectations should always be high in every single thing that you do. We've always talked about that, right? Why do it if you're not doing it the ultimate? The other thing is, this is a completely different football world that we're going into. There's no SEC East. There's no SEC West. There's no Pac-12 anymore. We're about to go somewhere where we've never gone before. Texas, Oklahoma jumping in. This is going to be wild. This is going to be the most exciting college football season you have ever seen. I think it's going to kind of give us a taste of college football in the sense of like what NFL fans feel in terms of the ups and the downs, because the competition is going to be so good, right? Like the SEC schedules, we've talked about them before. They are loaded. Every single week, you're going to have these marquee matchups that are going to be pivotal in the SEC because it's only one of the two. So the expectations for Alabama are going to be so high, and the gauntlet is going to be so challenging. But from the jump, he's going to be judged. And listen, the quarterback at Western Kentucky, TJ Finley, he can spin it. He's a big dude, right? I know it's a different caliber, but still. I think they come in here, and I think a lot of teams that are coming to Alabama now see Alabama as vulnerable, that they can't play with Alabama because the guys that they've lost or because Coach Saban is out. I can't even, like, Kirby Smart wants to come in here. He wants to beat the brakes off Coach KD. He's still mad from last year. They open with Clemson. That's an interesting game. I don't really, buy into the whole Clemson, program anymore. The ACC is completely, on the slide. I still think Florida State will be good. How can they not be? They can retool at the quarterback position. I mean, they got 5 guys from Alabama coming. They're probably all going to start over there. But the interesting thing is, I don't know if all those 5 guys would start here. Earl Little, maybe. Roydell Williams, probably not. Terrence Ferguson, I think so. Malik Benson, I don't know. Had a case of the drops. Sean Murphy, I don't think so. Let's just say 2 or 3 starters. But I think they'll all be maybe starting or pushing for starting spots at Alabama. But expectations, I mean, from quarter 1 and the first touchdown that you allow and the offensive hype that we're drawing up, yeah, the expectations are going to be crazy. Yep. Caitlin, same thing. Culture expectations Yep, 1,000,000%. D1 is talking about recruiting, and we're talking about the biggest challenges for Coach KD. This is so where Coach KD is right now. He's done a great job in terms of recruiting. Right, we've seen him attack immediately. The Parker Brailsford, I love it. That was gigantic. And then secondly is Ryan Williams. Like, not only do you fix the biggest issue from last year, but Ryan Williams was like getting him. If you would have lost Ryan Williams to Auburn, that would have been, kind of a kick to the you-know-what, right, out the gates. Losing him specifically, and it wasn't even to somewhere else. Like, losing someone to Auburn that's an in-state guy. And recruiting is going to be challenging for him, but I think you can still sell Alabama at a very high level to prospects. And you do that by bringing them to Alabama after you've, gone on the road and met with all these guys. By the way, pictured in this photo is Rico Scott, who's a 2024 signee. The wide receivers for Alabama include Rico Scott, Amari Jefferson, and Ryan Williams. Those guys are like, that class is loaded at wide receiver. But you bring them in and you showcase them. Look, this is our new plan. This is our new philosophy. I get it. Coach Saban isn't here, but that doesn't mean that Alabama isn't one of the biggest brands in college football. We can take care of you from NIL, and most importantly, we can get you developed to go to the NFL. Here is our plan for you. And once they start loading up on these 2025 guys, you'll feel good about it because recruiting makes people happy. Recruiting at a high level makes people happy. And we're going to judge him off this because Coach Saban never stopped recruiting. He was a master at it. Parents, coaches loved meeting with him because he never stopped, and they respected the hustle. They respected his message. So Coach Kalen Deboer, early on in his career, what we've seen from him, at least in the 5 media interviews that I've seen, he's well-spoken, he's polished, he's humble. And people in the South, you're right, they like people who work hard. We talk about that all the time. I think him coming in, I think he's off to a really good start recruiting. And I know 2025 is kind of a long way out, but from the bits and pieces that we pick up from 2025, recruiters and kind of what we read, he's off to a tremendous start for sure. That coaching staff is going to be really good too. But I mean, Coach Saban recruiting at such a high level, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3 in the recruiting rankings. Like, it was shocking. Let me ask you, chat, Undefeated, can you look this up real quick? What is the lowest rated recruiting class under Coach Saban? What is the lowest rated recruiting class under Coach Saban? What was it? Biggest challenge for Coach KD, making the playoffs? I think making the playoffs for anybody is going to be ultra challenging just because whoever gets to the SEC championship, the 1 and 2, my goodness, credit to you. That's a gauntlet. All right, Jim Parker, what's up? Good morning. How to develop Milroe the ability to pass 30 times a game. Last year, Washington passed 30 plus times a game. That's the biggest challenge for Coach KD. Yeah, and I think that goes on the responsibility of not only Coach KD, but Ryan Grubb, who is supposedly this quarterback whisperer. To make this offense go, you have to get the football out. You have to be able to be ultra creative, and you have to have a quarterback that can make really good, consistent throws, who is accurate. One thing that I will say about Michael Penix, why he excelled, why he threw for 4,400 yards, is he was, in my opinion, the games that you saw, he was one of the most accurate quarterbacks that I saw. An incredible touch. I mean, he put the ball kind of on the breadbasket. I don't think I've seen anyone more accurate than Tua Tagovailoa, but Michael Penix could thread it 100%. So could Jaden Daniels. But I thought the more that I watched Michael Penix, man, the guy was able to really just had great touch. And now that I think about it, he missed a couple times in that game against Michigan, but I think Michigan's defense had him running for his life. All right, we talked about that. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. Kind of running through some of these questions that you guys have inside the comment box. And I was asking chat, you guys inside the comment box, what is the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer going into this season from the jump, or for right now, right? Chris Williams. Chris Williams is a Auburn fan who's been joining us lately. I'm sick of y'all bringing up the New Mexico State all the time. We already talked about that. What about Texas or Michigan? Man, but look, Chris, we appreciate you being here, man. But the crazy thing about like New Mexico State was, the crazy thing is I went to New Mexico State, and I know the challenges of winning football games at New Mexico State. I mean, it just does not happen for them to go over and beat. That was their first win over an SEC program ever. And then the losses to Alabama. I mean, you can't make excuses for any losses, but Texas and Michigan, I mean, each went to the playoffs, right? But I will say, Hugh Freeze, there's always it seems to me like Auburn is always in the headlines for like some sort of wacky thing. Like right now, what's going off with their coaches, it seems strange to me. All right. You guys having fun with Chris inside the comment box. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Today's morning topic with Chad is the biggest challenges for Coach Kalen Deboer. And there's plenty to talk about when you look to, whether it be expectations or whether it be recruiting. I mean, it's kind of endless because I think that, and I think Auburn right now is a dumpster fire. It's like there's always some weird thing going along with them. What's up, Tink? I see you inside the comment box. 4th and 31, Hood Jesus. Caleb, make sure and make your way up to Calhoun Country and let's get a round of golf. That'll be my fan funding. Hell yeah, that's what's up. That'll be cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, I went out to the range and, I just, kind of getting back into it. I'm a little bit behind, but it's been so cold that I haven't been able to play that much. Plus, kind of the network overnight has changed kind of the daily schedule and the operating. All right. I'm going to take your calls next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'll put the call-in line up. When you call in, the calls work best when we give each other, some back and forth dialogue. So the call line is 205-850-1994. We want to get your calls into the show and hear what you got on this fine Monday, January 29th. It's amazing. And thanks, Jor, for that. The final 2024 rankings come out today. It'll be great to see where Alabama is considering, you lose Jameer Grimsley, but you added on Ryan Williams. Added on Austin Mack, right? Call line is open, and I'll put it inside the comment box too. If you guys, sometimes I get it. You guys can't see the banner or whatever. You guys overlook it. But the call line is 205-850-1994. Call in line. I'm adding this. All right, you guys ready? All right, we got a 256, 205, and a 256 coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being here and enjoying the show. If you guys can give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Kind of going over some notes that I have while the call-in line fills up. All right, let's start out the day with a 256. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? This is Tink from Orlando, man.
What's up, Tink? I appreciate you starting off the show, man. Welcome on in. Feel at home and come with it, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was talking about the topic, what the boys' biggest challenge is coming up. I mean, man, I'm just going to say this, like, the SEC, we're going to cannibalize the you-know-what out of each other, I feel like. I mean, it's from top to bottom, and with Texas and Oklahoma coming over, I mean, there's at least, 7, 8 teams that's going to be really, really nice and going to be a very hard win to get. So, I don't know, man. The SEC ain't the Pac-12, you know what I mean? Like, I know the Pac-12 was pretty good last year, but the SEC ain't that. So I think that's going to be a little bit challenging for DeBoer and Grubb. I mean, they've done big things everywhere they went, but they ain't been in the SEC yet. So I think we're going to have to find out how that goes. But I feel like could be I think we're going to be all right. Far as yeah, man, I just lost my track of mind.
You were saying you were talking about the biggest challenge for Coach KD, and then you said you think you're going to be all right, kind of coming in. So, number one, I mean, as I was talking back and forth with Chat, aka the Undefeated, about the biggest challenges, I think you're absolutely right. And Hollywood's right here. We have 441 watching. Can we get 441 thumbs up? I'd appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. For me, the biggest challenge is. He doesn't have to manage expectations. But I think like the fans have to be realistic with the new world of college football. And I think the biggest, thing for him and the challenges are going to be, playing in these environments that he has not been a part of yet. Look, going on the road to Neyland Stadium, Baton Rouge, having Georgia come into town, like these are games, I get it. He has played at a very high level. Shoot, he just won to the national championship. But the SEC is different. And the week in and week out, I mean, even Coach Saban said, this is the word that always sticks out to me, is the fact that he said this word, grueling. It's grueling. It does not stop. Like once the football season starts, where he's at right now, it doesn't stop. Like, so this June, when kind of things close down for the coaches, you absorb, all of those days in June, you get everything in order because once SEC hits, you do not stop. And the expectations here at Bama, as we talked about, title or bust. Let's be honest. So continue, Tink. We got Tink from Orlando. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man, sorry about that. You get a little starstruck when you get on this phone with you, man. I get a little nervous.
No, man. No. Just treat it like we're having some Kaneka sausage around a charcoal grill with like dogs running around and, kids, jumping up and down. I mean, just, that's when you call on the show, that's how you got to feel. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's how y'all make that's how you make us feel. So that's why we appreciate you so much. But yeah, it's just gonna be wild, man. I was thinking about like all the different. I mean, I don't even know what teams is going everywhere. All the conference and everything's gonna be so crazy and wild about next year to begin with, and then 12 teams. I mean. What do you think? I'll just go ahead and finish with that. I done lost completely what I was going to say when I got on here. As soon as I hang up, I'll remember all of it. But it's all right. I'll say it. All right. Out of the 12 teams, how many you think out of the SEC makes it in? And roll tide, Kyle. I appreciate everything. And yeah.
All right, Tink. I appreciate calling in. I think that, it's going to be filled up with SEC teams, in my opinion. I think that the way that you have the auto bids get into the playoffs, and then after that, I think the SEC schedule will speak for itself. I'm excited to see kind of the drama and the controversy, to be honest, surrounding the playoffs. I'll put the Fan Funder description inside the comment box for sure. Thank you very much for being interested in becoming a fan. To do that, it works best if you go onto a computer, but this is the Fan Funder link. As low as $2.99 to support the show. So I'd appreciate you guys becoming a fan funder. Our goal is to get our next goal is to get to $750. So if you guys can contribute as low as like $2.99, I would really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to be fan funders right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And what that does, it helps me pay the coaches, helps with business costs. I mean, this is my full-time job, so I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for you. So please hit the fan funder link as low as $2.99. And to upgrade to different levels, what you got to do is go into your computer, make sure you're signed in with the account that is associated with your YouTube account, and click upgrade. So thank you very much for becoming a fan funder. What you're seeing is B-roll. What B-roll is basically footage from last practice, and last practice meaning like last season. So just wanted some highlights on the board just to kind of like switch it up a little bit. I needed to see some football. So anyways, I go back to the phone lines, and we got a 205. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How you doing, Kyle? This is Samuel Edwards from Birmingham, Alabama.
What's up, man? I missed your first name. What was it again?
Samuel.
All right, Samuel, man. What's up? I appreciate you calling in from Behan, man. Welcome to the show and take it away.
Yes, I think the biggest challenge for KD is gonna probably be going to Tennessee, and then going probably to LSU on the road because LSU gonna be a night game in Tennessee. You better get used to putting that cigar in the mouth when we beat Tennessee. So I think the SEC, you gotta get used to it, smelling that cigar smoke. But yeah, I think it's just your first year. Your first year being going on the road in the SEC. But luckily, I feel like we should by the Georgia game should be all right by then. Should be all right. Then I like our running back room too. I feel like Haynes gonna get a lot of carries, and I like this offense he bringing too. I like this offense.
Who are you most excited about to see from the running back room, maybe other than Justice Haynes?
Man, probably I like Richard Young, man. I be watching his highlight tape all the time. I like Richard Young. He runs like with a purpose. Like he ready to run somebody over every time. I like Jan Miller too, though.
Yeah, I like the running back room from top to bottom. I mean, even the addition of Daniel Hill, because I kind of felt that Daniel Hill towards the end of his recruitment, I wasn't completely sure if he was going to pick Bama. Then he picks Bama, and then I watched him in that All-Star game, the All-American game down in Senate. Man, he looked nice. Like, he's a big physical running back, and I think I would maybe suspect that Jan Miller's probably like 215. I don't know how much Justice Haynes is at, like maybe 205. I think we need to get some updated heights and weights from these guys, but I mean, I think Daniel Hill might be the biggest running back in the group. What else you got, Sam? When you look to this team, expectations, kind of thoughts on your mind about Alabama or college football in general? What else you got?
I feel like I was just thinking, I wonder how we're going to use Law, because with Law, we do the jet sweep and everything. I wonder, like, is he like a deep threat going downfield? Like, do he have the speed? I know on the kickoff, he be running like with full force, but do you think he like a burner?
Yeah, I think when you look to Kendrick Law, I think from what I understand, he was one of the fastest players on this team already. I think it was like between him and Milroe, and I'm trying to think what Isaiah Bond said, but Kendrick Law, I think in open space is one of the fastest. Now, I think you got to have somebody who returns kicks that is just lightning fast, like lightning in a bottle. What we saw from Jamison Williams last night for the Lions, man, I don't know if you saw that, but he was flying. Jeez.
Yes.
Whew.
Mid J-Mo, man.
Man, right? He was flying. So that whoever is that fast, put them at kick returner. But I think, look, like we saw, chat undefeated. Help me out. When did Kendrick Law run the jet sweep for a touchdown? Was that Auburn and it got called back? I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
So you have him. Yeah, so be creative with him. Utilize him in spaces like that. And I think if they're able to do that, Kendrick Law eats. Now, he didn't have, the biggest season last year, but I think, special things are in store for K Law. Anything else, Samuel?
And I just want to say to all the Georgia fans, Texas fans, Tennessee fans, the one that was thinking Alabama is dead, Alabama is not dead. We still here. Y'all were wishing on our downfall. We still here. They over there crying. You can't see none of the trolls no more ever since. We got Ryan Williams, Coach KD just been doing good on the recruitment trail. You can't even see them no more. Where y'all at? But that don't think I want to say. Thanks for bringing me on. Hey, I support your show and thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy. That was Samuel calling from the Magic City. Appreciate you calling in, Samuel. All right. Appreciate you guys joining the show. By the way, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I encourage you guys to continue to become a fan funder of this YouTube channel. Here are the topics that we're talking about today. We started out kind of with the NFL recap. Then we were talking about the running back room here at the University of Alabama. Q&A with chat, a.k.a. the undefeated, kind of revolving around the biggest question, which is the biggest challenge for Coach Kalen Deboer, taking the calls. And I think if you can see our schedule, we got the Smook Scoop coming up at 10. Usually that is Around the Table Sports with Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports on his YouTube channel. But he's actually at a rodeo today, and I think maybe even tomorrow. So I'm curious when he gets back to hear about his rodeo experience. But we go back to the phone lines, and we got I think it's we got Mike in Kentucky, or Mike in Austin. Mike, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Kyle. You know, I was reading about, and I think I heard y'all talking about how young this Alabama team's going to be. I think there's only 10 seniors that's on the team, and in some units, like the defensive backs and the defensive liner, there's going to be like almost 70 or 80% of them players are going to be first and second year players. So it's going to be a real young team, which really it might be a good thing now that we have a new coach and a new scheme and all new coaches. And, you know, just being such a young team might be just a good springboard for them.
I think, well, first of all, I think your name now is going to be Free Mike out of Austin. That the chat has renamed you the Undefeated. It's good.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, we're on the line with Free Mike from Austin.
I am free as a bird.
Look, the youth, I think from the offense, when you look to the youth of the team, I mean, you do have more vets on the offense, but on the defense, right, that's where we're going to see some of these guys. And they might not necessarily be young, but they might just be unproven or just haven't had their opportunity. Maybe that's a better way to say it, right? Like, for example, like Tony Mitchell, right? What is he going to do? Devontae Smith, didn't get an opportunity to see him. Damani Jackson, people weren't that overly impressed with him at USC. You look to the opposite corner position. You know, who is it going to be? I have no idea who it's going to be. We do know that the interior linebackers are going to be ballers, but like, what about edge rushers? Q Robinson, we saw some good things from him. Didn't play that much. Keon Keeley, didn't see him. Jan Zapier, didn't see him. LT Overton coming in. Don't really know too much about him. Tim Keenan, proven. Jaheim Otis, proven. But I think he could have a better season this year. So kind of youth, but a lot of the guys are just maybe unproven or haven't had their opportunities to shine. What else you got, Mike?
Yeah, like I said, that may be a blessing in disguise. And also, as far as next year's 12-team playoff, you're right. It's going to be one of the most exciting years to start a new era of college football. But, you know, I think the way the format's laid out is the first 6 teams go to automatic conference champion, which is maybe, I mean, that's a good thing, I guess. But let's say if the champion of the Big Ten, the Big 12, for example, is the top, you know, is number 15. Well, they might go instead of a number 12 Ole Miss or something like this because of them being conference champions. But like I said, just the way the format's laid out, last year at the top 13 final ranking, 7 of them teams were SEC teams. So, yeah, the SEC does dominate the top rankings, but the way the format's laid out in the 12-team playoff, like I said, there's just some automatic bids. It was 6 automatic bids, but now that the Pac-10 doesn't exist anymore, Pac-12, whatever they are, doesn't exist anymore, then I think it's 5 now, but it does change a bit. But it's a very exciting time to be a Bama fan. And I got to let you go, Kyle, because there's a cell block inspection at 10:30, and I got to get ready for that, man. So you take care, dude. Have a good day.
All right. That's Free Mike calling in from Austin, Texas. We got a 256 and a 901, and pretty much a wide open call-in line. So if you want to call and get in line, now is a perfect time. On Bama Football on YouTube, I appreciate you guys calling in and rapping with me this morning on January 29th following 2 wild NFL games. I mean, the Chiefs, Baltimore, that game didn't have the same feel that the Detroit and 49er game had. And I know I was kind of surprised that you guys don't really like NFL that much, which is cool. I mean, it's just, and I don't really follow the NFL that much other than the 49ers and like Alabama players that are in the league. That's why, you know, somebody tweeted out last night that the Detroit Lions, you know, were leading the 49ers at one point in time because Jahmyr Gibbs was crushing it and so was Jameson Williams. absolute ballers. Smash the like button, as Bama Jeff says, inside the comment box, and think about becoming a fan funder to this YouTube channel. Only $2.99. Hit the hyperlink above this video to learn more about that. As low as $2.99 to support the product. We don't have any new fan funders this morning, and we need to bump that number up. The goal is 10 per day. And the next fan funder goal is 750. And we will be doing kind of giveaways to get to that point. So we appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you very much for believing in the product, hitting the thumbs up. The super chats go a long way as well. If you're not in that position, simply hit the thumbs up. That's all you got to do. And all the videos that we produce, hit the thumbs up. That goes a long way. So appreciate it. And thanks for joining the show this morning. Next up, we got a 901, and we'll take that right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, bud, calling in from Memphis, and I'm actually someday travel in the chatting with you guys all the time there.
All right. I'm sorry. I missed your name. What was it?
Someday Travels in the chat right there. Name's Kendrick.
Okay. All right. And where are you calling in from?
Calling in from Memphis, Tennessee.
All right. Cool. Come with it, man. I appreciate you joining the chat and supporting the product here on Bama Football on YouTube, man. With that, take it away.
Hey, yeah, interesting thing about this coaching change, go out there and kind of get your comments on it. With Saban saying everything was so grueling, I mean, hats off to the guy, because look at all the offensive coordinators, the defensive coordinators, all the assistant coaches and everything he had to hire. It was a constant turnover. And I think what I really like about KD is he bringing in the coaching staff with him that's been with him for years, and also bringing in some guys. So I see some really strong consistency there. And then maybe a little more delegating, because, I mean, I don't even know how Saban did it all these years. With all these different pieces he was replacing every single year to hold it together, man. I mean, holy cow, so he had to have his hands in every piece of the pie. Of course he was exhausted. And how he did it is just amazing.
I think that's a great point. I mean, since I have been here in my small time, since 2017, the coaches that have rotated in and out, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Pete Golding, seemed like kind of a fixture piece, but all of the pieces around him seemed to completely change, right? It's like you had the offensive coordinators, for example, since I've been here. Let me see if I can even recall them. So you had Lane Kiffin, Brian DeBoer. After Brian DeBoer, and help me out, Undefeated Inside Chat. After Brian DeBoer, you had, did we go to Coach Loxley? And then did we go to Coach Sark? And then after Sark, we went to Bill O'Brien. And then after Bill O'Brien, we went to Tommy Rees. That's 6, right? And now it's the 7th offensive coordinator in like 8 seasons. That's wild. So, yeah, to be able to think about how Coach Saban was able to maintain the high level at the organization was really amazing. And it really shows you, that it was his program, but it also shows you the foundation that was in place and that still is in place. So I think if you can continue to, build on that foundation and keep it stabilized, the pieces are in place, all the resources. I mean, you look to all the personnel, there's a lot of people behind the scenes. It was Saban's vision, but there were so many people along that vision that are still here at the program that are going to help Coach Kalen Deboer continue the winning legacy. But you're right. When you look in hindsight, I didn't even think about that. Like the amount of turnover, even from the player standpoint too. Think about this. Not only did Coach Saban have to continue to reload on his coaches, how many guys left early from Coach Saban, right, to go to the NFL? What if Coach Saban would have had those guys like an extra year? So many times you had guys leaving early because they were ready. They were already developed at such a fast level that they could go into the NFL. There was a lot of time we don't think about how good these teams would have been if guys would have stayed one more year. You imagine if Kool-Aid and Terrion were like, we're going to stay another year. Think about all those teams. They were so good. That's how deep Alabama football was under Coach Saban, and they're still deep. It's up to Coach Kalen DeBoer to restock underneath, and he's off to a pretty good start with the pieces that he's added. What else you got?
Well, and I look at what KD has done since he's got here. He didn't just hit the portal and just grab anybody and everybody. I think he's been very selective for what he's brought in. So I look at that overall team talent. And like the last caller, I said, yes, they're very young, but overall team talent compared to what we lost, Caleb Downs, yes, I'm crying. Dude was amazing. But what we lost and what we replaced it with and what we have coming back, I actually think overall team talent might be a little stronger.
And what's going to happen also is you're going to have what I would suspect is the players that have stayed have gone through kind of like preseason adversity. So that'll make them much more cohesive because they will have this kind of like band of brothers mentality coming into week 1, 2, 3, right? It's going to be like Alabama versus the world. Just wait to see where these guys are ranked at kind of in the preseason, right? That's going to add a lot of fuel to the fire. And even though Coach Kalen Deboer, he did coach in a national championship, let's face it, nobody really takes the Pac-12 serious. We want to, and there's really good teams out there. Dan Lanning, he did a great job. You look at some of the teams that USC has put together in the past, Stanford's defense, Utah defense, but overall, it's just not the SEC. So now with Pac-12 going away and Coach Kalen Deboer coming into the SEC, I think it's going to add kind of a lot of more doubters. Like the naysayers are going to continue on Alabama. There's a large majority of people that don't believe in Jalen Milroe.